Hi, and welcome to Off the Beaten Tracks, the only show on YouTube that's bigger than the bags under Fred Allen's eyes. Look it up.
It is late now, and all are asleep, even Steve Carlson, but I am awake. And today, or tonight, on Off the Beaten Tracks, we will be exploring some new albums. Samples will be below. Stay tuned and be enlightened, or stay asleep so you don't look like shit in the morning. This is an album called Shaky Dream by Dinosaur Bones. I obviously picked this up for the unbelievably cool cover. This cover gets a 9 with me. I just really like that. This is on Dino Records. This is from 2013. It is a Canadian band. I think they're out of Vancouver, though I couldn't say positive. It's recorded in Texas. John Congleton is his name, I believe. He produces St. Vincent. The vocals are a tiny bit Franz Ferdinand, perhaps. There's just a tiny touch, I think, of processing on them to give it kind of a nasally flavor. They're a big drums, slightly distorted guitar band. Some of these songs aren't songs in that tradition of verse, chorus. They're more musical pieces. I was going to give this a 6. And then I was listening to it some more, and each time I listened to it, it seemed to grow on me. I'm going to go up to a 6.5 on this, but a month from now, I could even be 7. There's something about this album that I really like, and songs that didn't immediately appeal to me. Upon listening to them again, something starts to screw into your head or into your ear. Slapstick, the third song on the first side, is a highlight, but I'm beginning to hear other highlights on this. So yeah, if you do buy this album, A, you've got a great cover, put it on your wall. B, do listen to it a few times because I think that would be rewarded. For my next album, I'm going to be doing Fist. This is In the Red. This is from 1983 on A&M Records, though, yes, on the back it's an unusual A&M. I don't know whether you can see that or not. It's not the typical A&M label. These guys were Canadian, hard rock band, not to be confused with the hard rock band in Europe, in England, named Fist. In fact, when these guys toured in England and their albums were released there, they went under the name Myofist. That was A&M's idea. These guys were a little confused by it, and why wouldn't you be? What the hell is Myofist? One word. So these were one of those hard-working bands that just about toured with everybody and would put out an album every once in a while. This starts off with a song called When I'm Bad, I'm Better. Similar to the Mae West quote, except that if you're a woman, I don't know who would listen to the second song after the insulting way these people seem to treat women in the first one. I don't know. The vocals are a little like the Scorpions. It kind of has the growl of Cinderella, and there's a lot of Lou Gramm from Foreigner thrown in here. If love is bad, it ain't good. This is not a bad song besides the absolutely stupid lyrics. In fact, one of the things that really, I think, holds this album together is the absolute rock bottom stupidity of these lyrics on this album. There's some nice keyboards in a song called Undercover Love, but the lyrics, they're just terrible. And Over the Line sticks out as a huge dollop of terribleness here. Street fighting heroes definitely did make you think of Foreigner, only in the sound, not in the quality. I'm going to give this album a 5.5 to a 6 just because it's kind of upbeat, and if you need something that's kind of mindless and upbeat, then this would certainly be one of those albums, unless you're a woman, of course, and then you'd be too busy gritting your teeth to really just bop along with it. For my next album, I'm going to do a little culture. We're going to go with this. I picked this up for $2. This is Carlos Barbosa-Lima. And he is a Brazilian guitarist, though he spent most of his time in the United States. He debuted at Carnegie Hall in the United States, which is a pretty good start. He not only toured, but he also taught at places as prestigious as Carnegie Mellon. And in the early 80s, he became friends and started to perform with Charlie Bird. And in fact, Charlie Bird was the one who recommended him to Concord Records, as you can see there. And that's how he got an album contract with Concord. He's put out many, many albums. He's known as a multilinear guitarist where he's playing several different parts at once. So it sounds like 2 or 3 people playing, but it's actually only him. He's the only person playing on this album, and I'm very lucky that this is in excellent shape because this has some very, very quiet passages in it, and if this weren't a very quiet copy, I would be very, very unhappy. Antonio Carlos Jobim and George Gershwin are the two. They have one side each for composers. And I would say that probably if it was a Sunday morning, I would go with Antonio Carlos Jobim. The George Gershwin's a little more disjointed because the songs were, you know, they had those little things in it where Jobim's kind of that smooth kind of South American kind of vibe. Very enjoyable. I can't imagine this guy getting many dates, but that's beside the point. I would give this, especially for Sunday morning, I would give this 7, 7.5. I managed to get 3 of these. The other 2 are sealed, so I'm looking forward to listening to those 2. And there you have it. For my next album, I'm going to be doing this. Got this for $1 in LA, I believe. This is the Movie Stars Heck Ola from 1989. This is on Lucky Pierre Records. I couldn't find out much about this band, but it does have a cute bass player. She's right here in the middle. 1989, maybe she's not as cute as she was, because I know I'm not. This is a very interesting album, full of pop and Cajun type music, complete with an accordion player. It's very up-tempo, very enjoyable album. It will remind you in spots maybe of the Bodines. I would have loved to have seen these guys live. This just sounds like a fun band with it would be a fun night. Apparently they warmed up for Hot Tuna. I can't imagine Hot Tuna coming on with that kind of slow, lugubrious, bluesy kind of thing after this live wire band. It must have been a tough act to follow. Nick Lowe, K.D. Lang, Lucinda Williams, Joe King Carrasco, they've warmed up for them all. I'm going to give this album an 8. Probably the cover, oh, I don't know, maybe a 6.5, something like that. But I'd rather have a better album than a better cover. This is Los Huayanay, and I apologize to every Ecuadorian that ever lived for that pronunciation. The album is El Llanto de la India, I'm guessing. You pronounce it that way. I picked this up for $1 on Black Friday, mainly because of the cover and this little tiny bit of butt down here. I hope that doesn't get me banned from YouTube. This is a really nice Sunday morning album. Most of it sounds like the beginning of Simon & Garfunkel's El Condor Pasa. They do have a couple of songs with vocals that change it up a bit. For this, I would give it a 6 to 7 as a Sunday morning album because it really wouldn't rock your coffee. And the cover with the little butt there, I'm going to give that at least a 7.5 because I'm old and lonely.
Okay. Okay.